Auzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, grüße euch zu einer neuen Update. Heute ist Ende des Monats und Ende des Monats zeigen die immer wieder Updates und jetzt zeigen die auch noch wieder Gameplay-Aufnahmen von Ashes of Creation, dem MMORPG, was die gerade entwickeln. Und ja, wir schauen uns das mal gemeinsam sonst an. Hier ist der Gameplay-Bereich und da sieht man die links. Ich mache das jetzt mal an.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, go for it. Sorry, Steve.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think one of the biggest communication points from, us as a studio to our community, obviously being appreciative of the support and, you guys giving.
Falls ihr noch nicht abonniert seid, könnt ihr gerne auch abonnieren jetzt und auch gerne die Glocke aktivieren und gerne auch Daumen da lassen und mich damit wissen lassen, wenn ihr mehr sowas sehen wollt, solche Videos. Hi Luis und nicht viel Rehan bei dir. Genau, nicht vergessen zu liken, danke dir.
Our launch is something that is, how to say, above reproach is flawless, right? You know what I mean? Like
Steven expects
I've
a
gone
lot
through
from
a
us.
lot of different, I do expect a lot, but you know what? I think that we've been able to put together an amazing team that can answer that call. One of the things for me as an MMO player that I've experienced in the past is the launch day is such an important day. I mean, especially in games that have long tail type progression and player driven mechanics. Launch day is the foundation for those things. So as we go through this Alpha 1 and as we go through Alpha 2, our goal is to make sure we get it right, and that obviously might involve additional time, but we're going to keep you a part of the process every way as we continue to develop and iterate. That's the promise we've made to the community.
Yeah.
The
MMOs
audio is
only
okay.
get one launch unless you have all the money in the world. So
Right.
we always, especially for a group that's relatively unknown, right? We're not Blizzard, we're not Activision. We have to really make sure that we put all our ducks in a row and have a really good launch. So it's really important to the whole team that we do this right.
Yeah, and I think obviously we're going to move into talking about our character stuff, but I think from our perspective, we might not be always showing exactly what you want to see all the time, I think is kind of a thing that I just want to put out there, because it is a process, and obviously we're showing our development process, we're showing some of the gritty stuff, and it's been, I think, interesting to see Steven and Jeff and Bacon, because we're all kind of perfectionists, and when they look at stuff, they're like, oh, that's not ready to share, and it's like, well, the whole goal for us has been to share the process of development. And so I think from our perspective, we also want to do that in a very professional manner. So hopefully the way that we've been doing it through our creation videos, our dev diaries, we have more of those planned. And obviously through our development update post here, we hope that we can share those things with you all in a way that also presents it professionally for us as well. I guess, is that the right way to explain it? I'm trying to word that. Yeah. So we have a lot of assets here. And I think I'll kind of let Jeff and Steven talk a bit about this. So the first topic here is going to be about the heads that are being created for the different races, and then also hair. Move into that.
Yo. Moin, Spuki, alles fit seit dem Zombie nicht mehr so aktiv gewesen. Joa. Gerade nicht so interessante Spiele halt, ne? Also was ich spiele und so, weiß nicht. Nicht so Lust gehabt auch on zu kommen. Warst auch länger nicht mehr da, ne? Hey Pi.
Somebody says he looks stoned.
Yeah, his eyes are a little red.
Oh no.
For this one specifically, Catkins wanted me, or Chris Atkins, the one, he's been on our stream a few times if you want to check that out. He kind of was telling me that this is like the process of, Steven and them having discussions regarding hair and getting it to the point where they're happy with it. And we'll kind of show off some of those pairs.
Right.
And we've been showing those off through our social as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. A lot of art. I mean, just to communicate to you guys again, the process. A lot of art goes through what are called first pass iterations, right? Where you want to get something into the engine, to kind of represent the direction that we're going to go in. And then as time goes on and you've gotten a lot of that first passes in, then you go back and do the second and third passes. So, initially we had hair that we weren't, obviously was first pass hair and we wanted to continue to refine. This would be probably kind of the second pass refinement that's going to go through many different iterations to kind of make that hair, higher fidelity, a little better looking, available to the character, and you'll see some of those examples. But these are kind of the beard styles. I think that if you guys have been following on social media, we've shown a few of these on Twitter and stuff. That are available. This would be the Valoon. The Valoons kind of having varying degrees of beards that become available.
Yeah, so we've been kind of showing a lot of all of the different beards and hair types and things of that.
Ja, warum nicht, Devran? Was hat dich aufgehalten?
Watch us on social. We definitely share things. And then the next topic we're going to be going into is a lot of the armors that have been being worked on. And we may have shown a little bit of progress on these in the past, but now we're continually iterating on them. And I'll let Steven and Jeff kind of talk over these as I go through them.
Yeah, so I mean, just to give you guys kind of an idea on how armors get incorporated. Obviously, because we're allowing the players to mix and match different pieces of armor, they're not just a pre-constructed one set that's going to be available. These pieces have to kind of be able to live naturally with each other as well and not look out of place when you have a lion set with a wolf set, pauldron and chest, right? They have to still look good together. So as the character team kind of determines these geos that get created of the different pieces, from the pauldrons to the guards to the chest to the leggings to the boots to the gloves, all of these things have to be constructed in a way that they live naturally with the other pieces of different geo that exists within the same tier. So obviously our character armor sets are going to live within different tiers. You're going to have a different silhouette of armor at levels 1 through 10 than you will have at 40 through 50. They're going to progress, get naturally more ornate, larger, different kind of presence. That's relevant not just from a visual standpoint, but also from a player threat assessment. If I see someone in the distance, I get a pretty good understanding of what I'm getting into based off of the silhouette. Is it a plate armor wear? Is it a cloth armor wear? Are they going to be level 50? Those are types of information that I can glean just from sight of a character at a distance. So the character team has been rock stars here in creating, well, rock stars in the sense of, they've been stars. Let me just say they've been stars. They've been stars. they've been stars in the sense of kind of creating these different sets that are available, that then the kind of concept and design team says, okay, I want to see, a golden wolf, leather set. And thematically, they'll take the geo pieces that they've pre-constructed for a varying degree of representations of this armor. They'll mix and match to create the golden wolf armor set, and then they'll apply thematic components. They'll change out the materials, they'll change the colors to kind of match what the design direction is in that regard.
A lot of these looks you're seeing right here are all like relatively NPC looks. So there'll be things you see across. Ooh, there's a fishing pole.
That's the next.
There'll be things you'll see across town. We really want to make sure that the sort of NPC population feels really diverse, and these places are metropolitan and kind of exciting and have, a full character to them. So our character team has been knocking these out like crazy, and they're amazing.
Yeah, they've been killing it and making the world feel really vibrant, which is nice. And all the colors, it's cool to see more of the colors coming in now that we've gotten more of those. Now, the next thing, we've showed off fishing in our playthrough last time, but I kind of also wanted to show off the process of creating these things because although, you see the fishing and you see us doing this casting and you see the fish in the water, you don't realize sometimes how much work goes into all these tiny little pieces. So I wanted to kind of show the progress of this, and if you all want to talk over it while I kind of showcase that, that'd be lovely.
Sure. I haven't seen this yet.
Fishing.
So I'm waiting to see what the content is before I start talking over it.
So it's the fishing. It's the creation of the fishing pole and then the fish.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think that part of creating these systems, especially systems like fishing, that have a specific progressive route requiring higher level equipment, harvesting tools, so to speak, before you're capable of actually harvesting specific types of fish that yield greater materials for players. I mean, that's all part of the progression of that system. Accompanying that obviously is going to be the detail behind, those tools reflecting the more ornate and higher profession quality that players have. So, in these you're seeing, are we running a video or something? I can't
I'm just
tell.
I'm just going through them while you're talking.
Oh, you're just going through pictures. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was waiting for like a video.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, here you're seeing, different types of fish. Obviously, these all exist probably within the same tier of the fishing profession. And then as, as the profession levels up, you're going to have access to larger, fish, to even perhaps more dangerous fish. We'll see. But these are things that players get access to as they level up that progression.
And tongs. I love the tongs. They look so cool. I just had to throw them in here, so you see tongs
They
too.
look great.
Oh, the tongs? Yeah, the tongs are really more of an ambience type item, at least with regards to their application for Alpha 1. These are things you're going to see NPCs having from a prop standpoint that just kind of gives, more detailed life to the world around you. It's easy to slap a NPC there and call him a blacksmith. It's an extra step if we include prop-specific tools for the tongs, exactly. Tongs for the specific NPCs that kind of set dresses them nicely for the world, right? It's all about immersion. We're going for a very high quality type of presentation when it comes to the world, and this is just an example of that quality.
And sorry, my cat's making a lot of noise in the background. They're playing with a toy together. The next thing is going to be a little bit of a video, a couple videos actually, of mounting horses. Obviously, this is still a work in progress, so I want to have you set that preference for you all, or precedence for you all. But you've seen us mounting the horses whenever we did the long playthrough before, and there wasn't a mount and dismount animation. Those are all in the works. They're coming in. So again, they're in the early process. So we'll show a little bit of that.
Cool.
Got a little dwarf guy. He's mounted.
Yeah, I mean, to give some context here, going back obviously to the first pass, second pass type thing, but direction on the mounting, the time to mount, the game is a little bit more faster paced than probably most of the older MMOs out there that we've experienced, and in that regard, we want to make sure that it's not cumbersome to kind of quickly mount a steed and start moving, especially not just from a raid component aspect. I mean, obviously a lot of raids include positioning, and we want players to be able to quickly position as far as their skill is determined, but also from a PvP perspective, it's important, that there are components there where mobility is a factor, and steeds play a very important role in mobility. So,
yeah. And then, of course, next up we have all of the lovely things from our environment team. Unless y'all wanted to talk about anything else character related.
No, I'm good.
I
No,
know
I think
before the
there's
stream
just gonna
started,
be-
a lot of people were asking about orc stuff. So I don't know if you want to like talk a little bit about that, Steven, at all.
Orc stuff.
Yeah.
You will be seeing orc stuff in the future. Congratulations.
Nice,
No,
nice.
there is there's a lot of stuff we have yet to roll out, and that stuff
There's
is being
so much
worked on.
stuff we have to roll out.
Yeah.
I know.
Orcs are really exciting. I'm hyped. We've definitely been excited to see those because it's very, very different. But moving on to our environment team, the lovely Bacon and his team has shared with us a whole bunch of stuff. So the first thing is this Nakua Naval Caravan. You've probably seen some of the cosmetics that we've made that are similar to this. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that before we move on to the Nakua structures.
Sure. So what you're seeing here, I believe these are.
Nakua
I believe
Caravans.
these are. Yeah, but they're water-based caravans? So
Yes.
this is when. So
Naval.
okay. So to give you guys an understanding, you have land-based caravans that carry goods, obviously, and get initiated by yourself. You are essentially the caravan at that point. You drive it and direct it. Caravans are capable of transitioning from land to naval caravan. So if you start out as a land-based caravan and you move to the coast and you want to move into the water, there's going to be a little transition period there. It's going to be a little construction kind of site. You're not going to have to do anything. It's just going to be a timer, right? So that you can't quickly move between land and water. It's going to be probably in the matter of a minute to 2 minutes. There's a little bit of vulnerability in that regard. But when you do transition then from land to water, these are examples of some water-based caravan skins that are available, and what that looks like a little bit. Obviously, the size of the capacity might change, the size of the vessel that you have from a merchant standpoint. By default, players are going to have representations of their caravans that are based off of race. So that's going to influence the types of animals that are carrying the caravan or moving the caravan forward. And then they'll be able to apply caravan skins as necessary, that will change that appearance.
Cool. And next up, we have a whole bunch of structures. Now, you've seen a lot of the concept of these structures. You've seen the concept of the vibe and the feel of what they're trying to go for with the villages and the towns and so on and so forth as for the Nakua. But now you're getting to see the actual structures that have been created. And I will agree with Bacon. The structures are almost very similar to the concepts. They did such a good job. It's amazing.
Yeah, we have a great pipeline when it comes to our concept team providing both character and environment, the direction and the details of specific items. But at the same time, also, our character and environment teams have had to work without concept art and just kind of description and direction from myself or Jeff or something. So, they pull it off amazingly well. And these specific assets were created from, I believe it was Ryan's concepting on the Nakua assets. So, all of these things go to construct the type of environment and reflect the culture of these specific races. And I mean, it's such a huge project just with regards to the number of races that we represent. And it's not so much the fact that we have 9 races, but the fact that those 9 races are coupled with specific cultures that have to be architecturally represented in each of the node stages of development. So when we are creating, these cultures, we're creating the camp assets to the encampment to the village assets that are more, a village size with thatched roofs and stuff like that, to transition to town, which are more brick oriented and solid material states, to cities and metropolises, which then just take it to the next level of size, just kind of representing these large metropolitan fantasy areas. Having to do that 9 times over from an asset production standpoint with these different races is a very large order, and the environment team has been doing an exceptional job in presenting those.
It's not even just the structures, right? Like, it's all the props that support those structures as well.
Right.
So you're talking about barrels and boxes and bookshelves and furniture. So all of that stuff has to be represented too and be culturally themed. So it's gigantic. And like Steven said, our environment team is just kicking ass.
Yeah, doing amazing stuff. And moving on from there, we have some cool plants that have been created.
Right. So I
Beautiful.
think this is Mia Del Casino. She has been working on some of the harvestables that are present in Alpha 1. There's obviously, because we have such an in-depth artisanship system, that requires a very, very wide foundation from a material and resource and gathering standpoint. There's a large crafting game in Ashes of Creation, and starting the work on presenting these resources in the wild. From a raw gatherable standpoint, really has a lot of assets that need to be created, and she's gotten started on the floral aspects of those. I'm not sure if she did also the ore related stuff as well.
I'm not sure who made the ores.
That might have been Mike.
But yeah.
And then we have
Yeah,
the
it could've
yarrow
been.
trees, which I
trees are
think
so
she did
good.
these, right? Because she's done a lot of the trees.
Yeah, I think she's doing all the trees
all
now.
the floral and trees and stuff. Yeah, she's done an amazing job, and just I think some of the things that we want to approach from a visual aesthetic standpoint is making sure that these harvestables exist naturally within the scene, because a lot of times I think, and we're going to go back and revisit kind of the effects that are related to this. We kind of put a little bit, I think, over effects on them, but we want players to be attracted and kind of test these systems out in these stages. But making sure that this is an immersive environment includes making sure that the harvestables are also a part of that environment.
All right. And then we've got this beautiful castle.
Some people may have seen that castle before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually the old castle set that Bacon made that was actually part of Alpha Zero as well. I think it's been revamped a little bit. It's now a stronghold in the Alpha Zero island. And I think also that's an old picture of the volcano that's got completely revamped.
I don't know. He shared this
yeah.
with me. I think it was specifically for the building, probably.
Yeah.
And then you saw a lot of the dungeon pictures. They are working a lot on the lighting. So this is kind of to give the mood of the lighting. And I'll let Steven and Jeff kind of talk over this as I just go through all these photos because there's a lot of them. And you saw us running through this dungeon as well. But these are kind of like the more high-res photos.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling internally the Junior Dungeon. We'll have an official name later. But one of the things that we want to have in our dungeons and sort of our playable spaces is a sense of verticality. So, it's a little bit boring to just experience a one-level dungeon and having lots of nooks and crannies and heights.
Ja, Leute, so, ich mach mal kurz an. Am Anfang war noch so ein Gameplay. Ich zeig das mal kurz. Ich glaube, so großartig wollen wir das nicht Dings sehen, oder? Irgendwo hier vielleicht. So.
I'm
Interesting.
I know a lot of the.
Awesome. Right there that you just saw. Sorry, that's my daughter in the background.
No, it's fine. Like I that's why I gave the preface for people. I was like, there are going to be kids, there are going to be cats, there are going to be dogs. It's,
Yeah, so this is like our hybrid combat system, kind of 2.0. That's certainly not our final iteration. There's stuff that needs to be fixed and stuff that needs to be changed. But you'll see that that there's a nice mix of both tab targeting and action skills happening in these fights. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the best controls are. We haven't quite nailed it yet, but I think we're getting pretty close. So this is basically a dungeon that should be tuned for 8 players, but I think they're going through with 5 players right now. We kind of turned things down a little bit so that we don't want the whole studio playtesting at the same time every day. So we just go in with small groups and we kind of get notes and take notes and go back and fix things and that kind of stuff.
And just to kind of add here, I know you guys will be noticing the effects. I mean, we have an amazing effects artist, Jim, who, just to give you guys an idea of how effects get implemented, we kind of run what are called first passes to get something in the world that can be present for these effects. And then as we kind of run through that first pass on all the skills and abilities, then we take additional time to go back and do a second pass and a third pass. And during each of those passes, they become more, closer to the final product, right? You're going to, like right now, you just saw a template that was, very, very large for a specific ability.
Super chunky.
That's very chunky, right? Or you see, some of the brightness or some of the size of the effects or some of the, templates are there. All that stuff gets refined. So keep that in mind as you're seeing stuff.
Yeah, Jim does deserve a raise. He's been doing a fantastic job. I think he's made our game look pretty incredible. So we're excited to have him, and it's been a lot of fun working with him. But yeah, so other things we've been working on, we've got sort of a rudimentary gathering and crafting system in. Again, it's pretty rudimentary, right? So it's just we're putting the skeleton together. So the first kind of foundational layout of those systems, tracking items, tracking resources, tracking all those things in the database. That's sort of what we've got set up now. There's some really relatively simple ways of interacting with those, but you start from the bottom and you work your way up.
And for those asking if there's going to be any information about classes, yes, we have a plan to basically put out quite a few articles and video content and pieces as we move into Alpha 1. They will all be part of an Alpha 1 series that will talk about each of those things, what you can expect from Alpha 1, and the current state that they'll be in, and what kind of feedback we're looking for, and then also looking to the future. So keeping that in mind, we will have some pieces coming out. We implore you, actually, if you look at the links down right below me, if you can follow us on Ashes of Creation on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, right here on Twitch, we'll be sharing a lot of cool information for you. And as we move into Alpha and as we move out of the NDA portion, we will be streaming more of that content too. So keeping that all in mind.
Yeah, and this dungeon here is actually a lower level dungeon, so this is something you'd probably tackle around like level 5 or level 10.
Right. And another thing to keep in mind about what you're seeing here is that this is actually us at level 10. So, those of you who are MMORPG veterans, there's a very limited select amount of skills that are available, at that type of level. Actually, what you're seeing here is probably more skills than you would typically have in another game, in another MMO at level 10. I mean, you see we have practically a full hotbar, if I recall correctly. Most of the MMOs I've played at level 10, you maybe have 3-4 skills tops to kind of play with from an active standpoint. But just keep in mind the intended top level for release is level 50. So there's still a much greater way to go when it comes to the skill fidelity and interactions and synchronization that's available for players.
Yeah, and also we're just trying to establish like the core identity of these classes too. So that's why we're starting with like a sort of limited kit, just so we can kind of figure out like, okay, this feels good for the cleric. Let's make sure that like we kind of keep this going up through the levels so that we don't lose that flavor or that feeling of making a cleric feel cleric-y. So we do that with each class just to make sure that like, okay, these skills fit well together, or these skills, this one doesn't quite match the rest of what there's going on there, and it doesn't make sense in sort of how I play, so let's maybe take that out and give that to another class or something along those lines. So that's why we start with a small group of characters first, and then we kind of build out from there.
And there's a question here asking, does that mean that it's going to be a relatively longer process to get to level 10 than a typical MMO that we've played before?
We have a relatively long time horizon for our leveling compared to other games.
I mean, one of the things I would say with regards to like leveling times is if you were to kind of classify, I mean, for those of you out there who have a lot of MMO experience, if you were to kind of classify our leveling time to more casual or more hardcore, I would say we're towards the more hardcore leveling time, but we're not, as far as some of those very grindy games. But we're definitely not going to be a max level in under a week type game. This is something that we want, players to need to invest some time and effort into. There's going to be many different paths towards leveling. It's not going to all be housed within your adventuring class and going out and killing monsters. So in that way, obviously, many of you guys know if you've been following Ashes of Creation, our ideal is to give a lot of progression paths so that different play styles get cater to and are relevant. But the amount of time to level is something that's going to be more on the hardcore side, but not all the way.
And I'm switching over to our next little dungeon here that we played through, if you want to talk a little bit about that. And there are quite a few other questions in chat regarding specifically mana and how that's going to work. Is it going to be typical as like other types of MMOs where as a cleric you're going to have to manage that resource, etc.?
Yeah, any resource that we give you is going to be something that is managed, right? If we don't want you to manage it, then we wouldn't put it in the game, right? So mana will be consequential. It won't be just a bar that you don't pay attention to. If you're a mage or you're a cleric or even if you're a tank, right, it's a resource that you can draw on to do things to the world, and you have to be careful about how you use it.
Yeah, some of the early discussions that Jeff and I had back in 2016, I think, when we would do our 8-hour-long roundtable discussions, was the relevance of downtime. Basically, in a lot of the older MMOs that we've been accustomed to playing, you kind of mana-oriented classes run through their mana and then have to kind of like sit down to regenerate. Exactly. And, that wasn't very... I will say, at first in that discussion, I was a little bit on the side of like, yeah, but there should be a cost-benefit ratio between your effectiveness in combat and the amount of downtime that you should have. And I think Jeff maybe illuminated a little bit more to me, the idea of having, compelling gameplay that's present through a majority of your experience and sitting is not very compelling. No. So I think we've kind of incorporated that philosophy within the core gameplay loop of mana-driven classes as well as health-driven classes, and incorporated mechanics that I think eliminate the sitting quote-unquote downtime as opposed to otherwise.
Yeah, but still make it something you have to manage, right? Like you still interact
exactly.
with that bar, and that bar is still very important to you.
We have another question that is, what is the 1+ after the enemies?
So the 1+
don't look
means...
at that.
Is there some figure we might as well answer?
It's mostly for us to understand like the population in the world, but it means that this troll is 1 level higher than you, and it is an elite.
Right. So typically the way that we would communicate that type of information once the UI is fully implemented would be basically the set dressing of the nameplate. So if you were to select a monster or a mob, you would notice the nameplate either would have a differing color that would illuminate you kind of to what its level position is based on yours in comparison. And then additionally, if it were an elite or a dungeon boss or a world boss, you would have additional filigree around the actual nameplate itself that would kind of designate, hey, this guy's a little bit beefier, or this girl's a little bit beefier than your typical trash mob.
Cool. And others are asking, can I have all the skills of my class, or will I have to pick and choose one?
You will have to pick and choose. We're definitely like a game based on builds. So you will build your character out based on your skill tree. But you will be having to make choices. You will, by choosing something, you're giving up something else, and that's always going to be the case in Ashes of Creation.
And then there's some other questions regarding, are there going to be hard CCs? Specifically, they're asking in regards to PvE.
Hard CCs as in
like crowd control,
meaning like complete lockdown.
Yeah, I would assume
absolutely hard CCs that are available. Yes, but keep in mind, in my opinion, right, when you have to balance between the application of a skill in PvE versus PvP, one of the biggest components, obviously, from CC perspective, is going to be mitigating returns or diminishing returns. Those are something that are going to be very prevalent, not just from a PvP perspective, but also from a PvE perspective as well.
And we've gotten this question before, but I got confused. Actually, people are wondering if they're going to be able to see targets. So in a lot of games, you can see like the target.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, assisting, basically, as I call that, right? Assisting, being able to target off a target. That's a very important component of group-based combat, whether it be PvE or PvP. Additionally, group leaders, and they'll be able to delegate this responsibility to other party members, will be able to apply over-the-head icons to targets as well, so that they can designate essentially like, hey, this is your attack target, this is the CC target, this is the kite target, kind of that.
And I know this is the one that we've gotten a few times before. People are wondering if the max size party is going to be 5 or what is planned. Primarily just because they're seeing 5 here. So.
It's 8. Yeah, we've said this in the past. It is 8. That is kind of how we are designing group combat as around an 8-player party based off of our 8 different archetypes. That's our design philosophy there.
And then people are noticing that the minimap has little blips for enemies. Are there going to be abilities or ways for people to spec to get more information on the minimap, or will that information always be available to a user?
That's something we want to do with our utility skills. So seeing the mobs on the minimap is probably not going to be a thing that everybody gets access to. That will probably be relegated to certain classes and certain abilities of certain classes. That's mainly just there for us to kind of figure out what our population is actually doing in the level at a glance. So it's more for us than it is for people, especially like in a dungeon like this. We don't really necessarily want to give away where all the mobs are unless you are a class that is very good at figuring out where the mobs are.
Cool. People have a lot of questions today, so I'm trying to grab them when I can see them. But is there anything else that you want to kind of share, Jeff, that you all have been working on? I know it's been a very long process. You have this huge list of things that you guys have been just pumping out. It's been really cool for us, like on the community and like marketing side, because we're getting to see all the cool stuff that we get to share with everybody. For instance, like I said, this live stream might go a little longer than an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to start feeling stuff kind of come together, like in aggregate, right? It's not like any one given thing, although I'm pretty stoked about how the mages turned out so far. It's a really fun class to play. I think just overall, just kind of seeing where we've come has been kind of the most fulfilling part for me. We've come a very long way in a very short amount of time, and we continue to make pretty incredible strides, every couple of months. So, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's been interesting.
Yeah, I think.
Go for it. Sorry, Steve.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think one of the biggest communication points from, us as a studio to our community, obviously being appreciative.
So problematic. It really is generally like even not just from like the player side, but from a technical side, like especially like when you're talking about like quest progression and all that kind of stuff. It's a last resort kind of thing.
It is definitely last resort. I think that some of the ways that we are setting up the architecture for our database and the persistence of items and progression in the game allows us to be able to address more granularly the issues that might come up. I think that obviously rollbacks as a last result really are utilized when the effects of a specific exploit and or game-breaking bug are so prevalent and widespread within a server that it does not make sense to try to run through with a fine-tooth comb the implications of said exploit or issue. That is the scenario in which you would utilize a rollback. So it's not to say that there couldn't potentially be a problem that would force our hand to do so, but again, as Jeff said, that's a last resort.
All right, moving on to the next question, which is from Grizzly Chips, which is a funny name. I like it. Will there be criminal activities for PvE content, like stealing from shops or pickpocketing NPCs?
Oh, absolutely. There will be a whole host of cool and fun interactions that relate to the storylines, either of specific organizations or quests, or kind of fun skullduggery that occurs.
Was ich gerne wissen würde, ist, ob das Spiel Targeting sein soll. Also wenn man ein Monster anwählt oder einen Spieler, dass man dann so attackiert oder eher Action Combat, so, dass die Ziele verfehlen können und so weiter. Also, dass man daneben schießt oder so. Wenn das jemand weiß, die Antwort oder so, kann das gerne in die Kommentare schreiben, falls er nicht live ist.
I also like the word spelunking. It's just fun to say.
It is a fun word.
Well, you can see in the game, I think we're spelunking right now, sort
True,
of.
we
Right?
kind of are, yeah.
It's like a mine shaft.
Oder allgemein kurze Fassung, was sie alles geredet haben, bei Fragen zum Beispiel und was sie geantwortet haben und so weiter zum Spiel. Können die kurze Fassung vielleicht mal in die Kommentare auch schreiben, wenn sie auf Deutsch, wenn sie möchten, gerne.
Elephant size is probably right.
Yeah, I would say. I think that even specifically with regards to some of the group mounts that we had displayed from the Kickstarter rewards, they were elephant-sized. In fact, I think they were larger, maybe a little larger than
Hey, I was gonna
elephant-sized.
say,
But
there's
yeah,
probably some that are even bigger than that.
yeah. But the group, I mean, the group kind of the group mount is going to be a very difficult mount to achieve. But once achieved, it's going to be very fun and pivotal, I think, mount in gameplay. So the idea there is to have them grand. Yeah.
All right. And our next question is from Birdie. No, not Birdie, sorry. Ruvida, who wants to know, when thinking about moving resources, will players be able to get storage in different cities or only in the node they're a citizen of?
No, you'll have access to the storage facilities of other cities. You can visit the warehouse of other cities, and you can store items there. The important thing about storing material goods, processed goods, crafting components, raw gatherables, those specific types of items have a risk in transit. So whether they're on your person, your body, your character, or they're in a mule or they're in a caravan, the death of either of those things will result in the partial loss of those goods, or even full loss, depending on the transit style. So getting those things to a specific node may be difficult from a transfer standpoint. However, if you're out in the open world and you're doing things and you come across these items and you get them and you don't want to, get back to your home base, yes, you can interface with the warehouse of different nodes without having to be a citizen.
Cool, cool. And we have a question from Jazarus, who wants to know, can you give us an example of what additional character creation customization options Kickstarter backers may have access to that non-backers will not? I don't know if we want to give the specifics of that right now, but I think we probably will send out something in regards to that in the future.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. What was it? One more time?
Specifically, Kickstarter backers have additional character creation customization options, and they want to know what those customization options would be.
Oh, got it. I
Yeah.
see. I understand. So yeah, that stuff will be defined further out. Once we get into I would probably say after Alpha 2, those particular cosmetic Kickstarter options, additional Kickstarter options, will be revealed and explained.
Yeah, and if you are a Kickstarter backer who has a reward that is specific, like a statue or things of those sorts, we will give you information far in advance. You'll get an email, you'll get notifications that those emails went out, things of that sort. And for the ones that we need information back from you we'll be gathering that information in advance, of course, because we would need your side of the thing before we can make the things. So keeping that all in mind, we will let you know. Our next questions are from our Russian team. We have Konstantin, maybe that's how it's pronounced, wants to know, it's like the letters are different, so I don't know. They want to know, will there be different potions for the potion launcher weapon, perhaps depending on the ingredients players use to craft them?
Yeah, I think not so much I don't think it would be ingredient based. It would be, I think, enhancement based. So I think, like, if the potion launcher does indeed make a debut within Ashes of Creation, the MMORPG, in that scenario, it would be obviously a ranged weapon, but it would be one where you could perhaps augment the types of potions and or damage that's done based on the enhancements that the weapon receives.
Great. And then Vladimir would like to ask, will it be possible to rent a game server to create a world with personal settings? Very interesting.
Oh, Vladimir.
That's a good question.
No, it would not be possible to rent a private game server to test things. No. Now, that's not to say that there isn't the potential for us to incorporate a test zone that is local, perhaps on a player's client, where you could try out your cosmetics or play with different skill builds and dummies and stuff. That's something we've talked about in the past, and we were considering incorporating into Apocalypse. But uh-oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm
you hear
just
me?
not screen share. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. I saw it die. Yeah, but that may be something we incorporate in the future, but we'll see if we have time for that. I don't know.
Cool. And I'm going to grab a couple from chat here. Will spears be primarily melee weapon or a ranged weapon?
Primarily melee.
Yep.
Let's see if there's any other ones in here, but we'll be wrapping up here in a moment. There's a lot of questions regarding the DPS meter, and I know like we've had many discussions on that front, and I know you talked about it already, but I don't know if you want to talk on that front anymore. You feel like you've
I feel like I've addressed that
a million times. Yeah.
Significantly, and I know that it is a divisive subject, and there are definitely positions had within the MMORPG community in general. I am still of the opinion that those types of functions can be a bit toxic when it comes to the social aspect of MMORPGs. I know that very competitive players and guilds want to achieve the best, and in order to do so, they're of the opinion that they must have the most pertinent metrics and information available to them in order to do so. I think that, if I were to direct the social interactions that should be relevant in an MMORPG, at least like Ashes of Creation is, that cultivating good players and increasing the skill of your guild members and your friends through interaction, gameplay, and co-progression is the better way and more long-lasting way to do so. And I think it helps to develop that type of guild-based camaraderie. Now, I know that's very subjective, but at the same time, I'm making the game, so.
I mean, it's true. You get to make the decisions. And on that front, people have been discussing in chat regarding like third-party tools and things of that sort. So I know we've talked about our stance on that before, but if you want to just readdress that, and then we'll kind of be wrapping up for today. And obviously, if you didn't get your question answered, they will still get answered on the forums. So if you left our question, if you had questions listed and you did fill them out in time, you will have your responses on the forum. So definitely go check those out. That means probably that your question was already asked before, and so the answer's already out there, and the lovely wonderful Toast has already provided you the answer, so definitely go check that out. I'll toss it back to you, Steven.
Sure, and just to, I think, even elaborate, I saw someone say you can't push harder content without logs. I would fundamentally disagree with that. I would say that you can push harder content, but it becomes a function of trial and error. It becomes a function of perseverance. It becomes a function of continual attempts. And in and of itself, that is content that hardcore players and or more competitive players should be open to. In fact, I really love the concept of iron mode type games. There are certain games that I play where I play in an iron mode or Iron Man or iron mode, whatever type setting. And the reason why, it's not because I like the repetitive nature of having to go and do the same content over again. It's because I like the challenge of trial and error, the challenge of my learning curve being based on my experience rather than a data table. And obviously I can take that experience and I can convert it into a data table, and data is a great thing to drive a lot of aspects of real life. But from an immersive standpoint, in my opinion, it is less an immersion factor. It is less a social factor. So that's kind of why I kind of feel that way about that.
All right. And I just want to take one more question, which is from Bad Potato. I do want to say that there are no such things as bad potatoes. Potatoes are amazing in all forms and shapes. They want to know, knowing that open dungeons are available for everyone, will the difficulty increase the deeper you dwell into the dungeon, to the point that only serious hardcore players
within
can do
different
them?
tiers?
Like talk a
Difficulty
little about...
is definitely a
Good job.
progressive component. So many of the dungeons will have entrances where you're going to see either lower level mobs within the scene, closer to the entrances.
This is kind of to give the mood of the lighting, and I'll let Steven and Jeff kind of talk over this as I just go through.
You're going to find rooms that have either more difficult mobs or more difficult those are types of information mechanics. So some rooms may have specific type of pathing mechanics or specific type of dangers that are terrain and environmentally based,
and
that
zones of
coordinate
influence
and synergize well
from
with
Solarium.
the mobs that are present. Those types of deeper, maybe darker types of interactions will be found deeper in the
Guild
dungeon.
Wars 2,
So yeah, that can be expected.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our April development of. It has been a whole nother month, which has been nuts for us. Maybe next time we'll be back in the office. We'll see what it's like. Again, thank you and welcome for you all joining us to our home edition of this.
Right?
Hopefully it was still informative. Steven expects a lot of information, a lot of cool development progress, and I think our team's continuing to work hard and everyone is
Ja, Leute.
kicking butt.
Also wer auf Deutsch Kurzfassung machen kann, übersetzen kann, der kann das gerne Kommentare auch schreiben. Ich weiß nicht, was die noch zeigen wollen, ob die noch mehr Gameplay haben oder nicht auch. Pai, noch da? Wie geht's? Wie war dein Tag heute?
We will have a new dev discussion coming out, so stay tuned for that. We definitely love your feedback. Jeff has put together some really great questions the development team, the design team are interested in, so the more feedback we can get from y'all, the better. I don't have anything else to add? Jeff, Steven?
Yeah. Just want to say, guys, hope you guys are all
Ziemlich müde, obwohl ich genug geschlafen habe. Okay. Boah, bin manchmal auch so schlappig irgendwie. Das war's mit dem Development Update anscheinend.
Ashes of Creation, super easy to find us. We are Ashes of Creation everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the follow button here if you're watching on Twitch. And we'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye bye. Ich mache mir auch gerade Spaghetti. Von Tomatensauce halt. Bye 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 bye. Hört man das? Okay. Ja, so ist das. Hab mir vorhin gebratene Nudeln gemacht. Okay. Gebratene Nudeln habe ich mal gern gegessen, aber irgendwie habe ich das gar nicht mehr gern gehabt. Mir bestellen lassen. Zweimal oder so, danach hatte ich gar keine Lust mehr. Letztens, ich habe nur in einem Laden immer was bestellt. Also in einem, weil ich weiß, dass die Halal verkaufen. Anscheinend. Von so, habe ich mir da bestellt. Aber da gab es immer nur das Gleiche, ne? Also Steak oder Spaghetti oder halbes Hähnchen oder sowas immer. Oder Currywurst. Ich hatte aber voll Bock auf so Cheeseburger, Hamburger oder sowas und Chicken Wings oder sowas. Habe ich letztens noch einen Laden gefunden, habe ich geguckt und da stand so, habe ich einfach mal gegoogelt, wo es Halal gibt. Stand da so 100% Halal und so, ich lese so, oh, das gibt's auch Lieferando, der liefert ja auch noch hier hin. Und die verkaufen so ein 200 Gramm oder so mit selbstgemachten Rindfleisch und so 200 Gramm. So ein richtig fetter Cheeseburger. Und warum habe ich dann? Ah ja, das ist von dem Stream gewesen. Ne? Und Chicken Hot Wings verkaufen die. Hot Wings machen die selber anscheinend so. Das ist wie Chicken Wings fast. Habe ich auch noch mitbestellt gehabt. Aber leider 10 Euro Mindestbestellwert, ey. Und Cheeseburger kostet 7 Euro irgendwas ein Stück. Aber damit wird man satt, Alter. Ich habe das gegessen, ich war voll satt, Mann. Konnte gar nicht reinbeißen fast. Also deswegen habe ich mir auch noch Hot Wings bestellt. Dann konnte ich nicht alles essen halt so, ne? Muss ich nächsten Tag essen. Muss man immer was daneben bestellen. Man will nur Cheeseburger oder so, muss man was daneben noch was bestellen mit dazu. Damit man Mindestbestellwert erreicht. Da habe ich noch so einen türkischen Laden, glaube ich, habe ich gefunden. Mit Dürüm und so alles. Die verkaufen auch, glaube ich, Cheeseburger und so. Aber ich weiß nicht, ob das Halal ist. Das Fleisch. Habe ich nachgeschaut auf deren Seite und so auch. Aber steht nichts. Irgendwie habe ich nicht gefunden. Könnte anrufen und fragen, aber ja, weiß nicht. Ja, das war so ein haben die wohl selber gemacht. Den Rindfleisch machen die wohl selber und so. Aber der hat auch geschmeckt. Also man hat den Geschmack gemerkt, auch nicht so wie du weißt doch, bei McDonald's oder so, diese Cheeseburger mit diesem dünnen Rindfleisch da, klein. Und wenn du einen Cheeseburger reinbeißt, schmeckst du da gar nicht den Fleisch, ne? Also kaum. Schmeckst da nur diese Dings hier halt, den, keine Ahnung, Senf oder was da ist oder sowas. Aber bei dem schmeckst auch das Fleisch auch. Das ist auch ein bisschen dicker und so größer. Schmeckt aber auch. Die haben auch so 4,5 Sterne oder so, glaube ich. Auf der Seite, die Lieferando. Also hat gepasst, hat geschmeckt. Die Nudeln. Boah, das riecht wie Dings Kastanien. Auf Esskastanien hätte ich auch wieder Bock, aber weiß nicht. Was ich daran nicht mag, ey, dass wenn man die nicht Dings pellen, wie heißt das, pellen oder so kann, bleibt immer kleben und so. Aber es gibt welche, die kann man voll gut pellen. Da ist ja die Zeit vorbei, glaube ich, mit Kastanien. Boah, der ist voll komisch, ne? Ist nicht so Dings. Ich weiß auch nicht. Ups. Ja, ich weiß nicht. Ich mag das eigentlich auch von McDonald's, aber ja, ich esse das nicht, weil das eventuell nicht halal ist auch. Ne? Aber normalerweise mag ich das ja eigentlich. Kann man, aber ja. Es ist anders. Da ist ja nur Käse und Gurken und sowas drauf und Ketchup oder so nur. Das ist ja so ein bisschen anderes Cheeseburger, nicht so Dings. Wie die im Imbiss machen oder sowas. Oder in so einen richtigen Burger ausmachen. Das Brot ist auch nicht so gut, Alter. Weiß gar nicht, wie lange die jetzt bleiben sollen, Alter. Sind geworden, ey. Haben wir mal auf 2 für die Soße gleich. Ist ja auch noch, aber die Soße geht voll schnell. Mal kurz. Hier ist alles voll von den Dingern hier. Sieb. So. Was hast du geworden? Kann noch ein bisschen werden vielleicht. Ein bisschen noch nicht. Das glaube ich. Ja. Ganz bisschen härter Part. Ja, freilassen. Muss auch ein bisschen werden, glaube ich. Das ist aber schade, da ist ein Wagen, der hat sein Licht an vergessen. Also seine. Hat er den Licht an vergessen, ey. Glaube ich. Schon die ganze Zeit an. Mein erster Wagen war Dings hier. Renault Megane. Und das ist ja so automatisch, so mit elektrisch so meistens, weißt du? Die Tür und so geht elektrisch auf und so alles. Mit so einer Karten, keine richtige Schlüssel, so das ist so ein Dingsschlüssel, so ein Kartenschlüssel, ja. Elektrisch. Irgendwann, ich fahre hinten bei mir parken. Am nächsten Tag komme ich so, will ich fahren, auf einmal geht er nicht mehr an. Also, Motor ging nicht an und dies, das. Das Problem, ich dachte, vielleicht kann man das beheben oder so, das ging nicht. Also habe ich auch zum Werkstatt gebracht und so. Und dann, da war so ein Computerfehler, Bordfehler irgendwie. Und das sollte irgendwie 2000 Euro oder keine Ahnung, hast du nicht gesehen, kosten. Und damit könnte man neuen Gebrauchten davon kaufen fast. Habe ich das einfach gelassen. Habe ich es für 200 verkauft einfach danach. Also an den Imbiss und also an den Restaurant unten höchst. Den kenne ich ja so. Hat er das gesehen so, gib mir das einfach für 200. Ich so, ja okay, nimm. Habe ich ihm die Dings gegeben. Die Briefe gegeben und so halt. Fahrzeugbriefe und sowas. Kannst du haben. Könnte man wahrscheinlich teurer verkaufen auch. Aber egal. Ist schon etwas her. Ich gehe in Polen zu McDonald's höchstens, da schmeckt es anders. Okay, komisch. Würde mal gerne in der Türkei gehen. Also wenn das Halal wäre. Na, nice. Ist ja auch schon. So ist das. Was machst du heute noch so? Das ist von letzten Monat.
Lockdown, having to VPN, and that could inhibit some of the quality. Potentially self-achievement. What we're going to try to do is probably
Hey Dark Knight. Oh, das ist aber übertrieben. Ich werde zum Polen, die hätten für 20 Euro den Fehler gelöscht. Was für ein Fehler? Gelöscht. Weiß nicht, aber wenn das so viel kostet und so. Ich war ja nicht nur bei einem Werkstatt und so. Wurde ja auch woanders gefragt. Das war gleiche, glaube ich. Einfach schlafen. Okay. Wäre cool, wenn jetzt New World draußen wäre. Also wäre ja Close Beta, sollte ja diesen Monat eigentlich anfangen. Normalerweise. Und nächsten Monat schon der Release sollte kommen. Aber haben ja verschoben jetzt. Könnte man ein bisschen zocken, ey. Das wäre auch geil, aber das dauert noch wahrscheinlich. Es kommt wahrscheinlich mindestens 2021 oder so erst. Vielleicht Beta oder so. Keine Ahnung. Aber sieht nicht so schlecht aus, ne? Die haben schon. Ob die mit dem Grunddingern Dings sind, fertig sind, glaub nicht, ne? Die haben in den Werkstätten so ein kleines Computerchen, das die ans Auto schließen können. Da sucht er nach dem Fehler dort etwa. Okay. Komisch. Okay, Computerboard. Nee, ich glaube irgendwie der Computerboard musste gewechselt werden oder so. Und bei diesen Renault-Wagen, glaube ich, ist ja alles mit Computer und elektrisch und so. Ich glaube, da kostet das dann viel, glaube ich, wenn man das neu reinsetzen soll, weißt du? Sonst würden die den Fehler ja auch beheben, einfach, wenn das ginge da. Wahrscheinlich. Aber wenn das neu gewechselt werden muss, würde das ja kosten viel. Ein neuer. Aber ich habe den Wagen gemocht. Ich konnte gut fahren damit und so auch. Aber auch nicht wenig Rennen und so auch mal gemacht damit und so. Der war, also beim Beschleunigen war der gut, ey. Mit 120 PS. War nicht so schwer. Und beim Beschleunigen habe ich auch so BMW und sowas hatte ich überholt gehabt. Aber danach, bei Geschwindigkeit, hat er mich überholt. Oder hat da mein Freund gerade gefahren, weil ich glaube schon, weiß ich mal. Auf jeden Fall uns halt. Also den Wagen, mein Wagen. Überholt. Ja, übelst. Also erste Gang, zweite Gang war der voll schnell dann auch. Und dann ja. Den Wagen sollte man nicht normalerweise für sowas benutzen unbedingt. Ja, ich habe auch nicht, war ja erster Wagen und so, hab auch nicht so gut bin auch nicht so gut mit dem umgegangen, mit dem Wagen. Ja, bei Winter, wo Schnee war und so, haben wir auch gerne mal gedriftet und so richtig. Einfach auf der Straße so, aber war auch abends, also nachts so, wo kein Wagen gefahren ist oder so. Mit Freunden zusammen. So ganz schön Vorsprung geholt und so. War auch mal knapp, dass wir gegen Bordstein gefahren sind oder sowas. Aber ja. Einmal, ne, so, wir fahren mit dem Wagen. Mein Freund fährt gerade. Ich sitze nebenan. Mein Freund fährt. Und die Straßen sind ganz glatt, ne? So, aber wir haben nicht viel gedacht dabei. Der Wagen hat auch ABS und sowas, aber ist ja egal. Und dann, wir fahren so und dann, der fährt aber auch nicht so ganz langsam, ziemlich schnell. Und das geht nach unten. Und da sind so, vorne sind so Wagen geparkt und so, Seiten sind so Häuser von uns, so eine engere Gasse, so nicht so eine Dings jetzt. Und er fährt schnell. Und dann, ich check erstmal nix. So, hab mir nicht viel gedacht dabei. Und dann sagt mein Freund so, oh. Dann check ich erst, oh shit, wir sind zu schnell. Er bremst, passiert nichts, okay? Die ABS reagiert nicht, wir rutschen. Also zum Schluss hat er Handbremse gezogen. Der Wagen, der dreht sich nach rechts. Wir drehen uns richtig so, wir fahren immer noch nach unten, wir fliegen nach unten, da sind Autos, die geparkt sind, da ist so eine, ein Auto steht vorne, eine hinten, also da ist so eine Lücke, ne, wo ein Auto reinpassen könnte. Wir rutschen genau in diese Lücke und parken genau zwischen den Autos. Das war ein krasses Parken, ey. Aber das könnte auch schief gehen. Aber Alhamdulillah ist nichts passiert, also. War fast wie so Parken, aber ein bisschen krass so betreffend. Gut reagiert noch. Also sollte man nicht nachmachen. So. Das war ja am Anfang. Die haben in den Werkstätten so ein... Achso, hast du ja geschrieben gehabt.
Oh, these guys are so angry.
Yeah, they sound grumpy.
Jeff, I am Stephen Sharif.
Are you?
Space Sharif. Thank you. Oh, you knocked me down.
Yeah, he's very mean.
My mic not?
Your mic's coming through.
They're complaining, or I'm complaining they can't hear me very well. You might want to.
You sound really clear to me.
Yeah, you sound clear to me.
You might want to turn up the volume a little bit.
It's
for
pretty
Jason.
loud.
Okay. Just
Like-
off chat.
I don't know.
Oh, that knock is fine as well.
Okay.
Right. Okay, good.
They said yes. I think it's someone else. Don't listen to everything everyone chat says.
Not. You mean I can't believe everything on the internet?
Yeah. Because Steven, if you look at my screen,
Im Vorbeizug.
you see the levels. You're like equals my levels, so there's
Yeah.
no way that you can be quiet. You're actually higher than me, so I don't know.
Okay.
Like when you talk, you see your levels.
Ja, ja, oder einmal hier, ich bin mit Freunden in meinem Wagen und dann, wir waren glaube ich bei Penny oder so da irgendwo einkaufen und da ist so eine Straße, der geht nach oben so, als Straße sage ich, so eine Anhebung nach oben, da müssen wir hinfahren und dann kommt die Straße, ne? Links kommen Autos halt, nach rechts und vorne nach links und ich wollte nach links fahren, schnell so, ne? Fahre ich erstmal dahin und dann war da noch Auto, der ist normal gefahren, aber war ein bisschen weiter weg und dann will ich nach links fahren, ich fahre, komm rein, wir sind genau in der Mitte des Straßes, sackt mein Auto ab, weil ich aus Versehen den Dings falsch gemacht habe, glaube ich, also den, wie heißt das nochmal, habe ich falsch losgelassen und dann, das Auto, guck mal, wenn das Auto sieht, da sackt ein Auto ab, der bleibt da stehen, ist genau vor ihm, was würde man dann normalerweise machen? Also wenn ich wäre, würde ich zum Beispiel langsamer fahren, ne? Ganz langsamer oder abbremsen so. Der macht das nicht. Der fährt einfach weiter. Gleiche Geschwindigkeit. Hupt, glaube ich. Hat auch noch gehupt, glaube ich, irgendwie. Und dann, ich mache aber schnell das Auto an. Also das Auto habe ich wieder angemacht, Start gedrückt. Muss ich einfach nur Start drücken. Ist angegangen. Ich muss schnell handeln. Ich mache schnell den ersten Dings. Das war Reflex gerade. Das war nur Reflex. Reflex hat uns eventuell da gerettet. Wirklich schnell auf Gas. Wir driften voll und dann bin ich schnell ausgewichen. Nach links. Das war voll knapp. Ist er vorbeigefahren. Ganz knapp so. Mit gleicher Geschwindigkeit. Fast ist er gegen uns reingefahren. Voll blöd. Passiert.
Sweet. Ugh, I got floated. Oh, I got mushrooms.
Oh, snap. Bring him back over here. Out of the ladder.
Vielleicht hat er das extra gemacht. Keine Ahnung, ey. Vielleicht wollte er reinfahren oder so. Damit er vielleicht sagen kann, guck mal, ich bin gerade ich bin gerade hier gefahren und er ist da rausgekommen, er hat Schuld, wollte er vielleicht sagen. Und dann, damit er Geld kassieren kann oder sowas, keine Ahnung, weiß ich nicht, was da genau war. Will jetzt nicht Dings machen. Ich weiß auch nicht ganz genau, ob der gehupt hat da oder nicht. Mehr genau. Vielleicht hat er nicht mehr auf die Straße geguckt, aber wie kann das denn sein? Der kommt von ganz hinten da, ganze Zeit, fährt er gleiche Geschwindigkeit oder so. Man bremst doch ein bisschen. Fährt doch langsamer, sagt, oh, okay, ich fahr mal langsam. Oder und am Ende, dass man dann bremst oder so.
Sorry.
Dass man anhält.
He was walking into me, so, or Jeff was walking into me. There is collision on people, so like you could push someone around. Jeff was pushing me around. Look how pretty these flowers are. Like, can I just build a home here and live here?
I think you can.
They're leaving me.
That is a terrible thing you can do.
Where'd you go?
No, I'm following you guys. I was enjoying
She's
the
so
picture.
small, I can't see her.
I know, I'm like underneath the bushes.
The bushes.
You can't see. Look, I'll hide in this bush. And one bush. All right, let's go.
Oh, so sorry. Yes. So where are we now?
Ooh.
We have reached the crossroads of Wednesday. And according to our quest, there's not much we have here.
Somewhere.
Quest. Hey, Corey.
Oh.
Corey.
Hey, Corey.
And for
Oh, he's
Chris
on a dwarf.
and
I think they're all dwarves.
Bird.
Oh.
What are you guys doing here?
Oh, dude, Terrence looks like a ninja.
Oh yeah.
Aber sind einige Sachen halt so passiert, ne? Mit dem Wagen habe ich auch nicht, bin auch nicht so geil umgegangen, habe auch mal die Reifen quietschen lassen und sowas, öfters, dies, das. Ja, vielleicht hat der lange nicht mehr gehalten danach, so, kann ja sein. Aber erste Wagen halt passiert, ne, auch. Danach bin ich auch gar nicht mehr gefahren, also, hab auch nichts anderes geholt. Kein Wagen mehr oder so. Aber ich überlege mir wieder, halt einen zu besorgen. Ich muss erstmal meinen Führerschein wiederholen. Musste ich abgeben, leider. Weil ich mal zu schnell gefahren bin. 50er Zone 81 oder so gefahren. Oder 83 oder so. Haben die 2 km/h weggenommen oder so. 81. Hab nur einen Monat abgegeben, dann wieder geholt. Aber musste dann halt Aufbauseminar machen, 4-mal. War leider einmal da und danach war ich nicht mehr da. Habe ich voll verpeilt gehabt auch. Und da muss ich abgeben. Und von da aus an habe ich auch nicht mehr wollte ich auch nicht mehr. Habe ich nicht dumm gekümmert. So oder so. Will mal gucken. Ja gut, ich werde da mal jetzt offline gehen. Ein bisschen was essen oder so. Wünscht ihr noch? 81 geht. 81 geht noch. Ja, da bin ich gerade von irgendwo von so einer Dings halt rausgekommen. Parkplatz halt. Hab richtig gedriftet gehabt. Nach links. Das war ja auch nicht weit. Die waren im Wagen. Die Plätze. Das war gleich da vorne so. Aber ich habe ja da gedriftet, richtig Schwung geholt, also richtig auf Gas getreten, zweiten Gang und so, dritter Gang, und wurde gleich da geblitzt dann. Die waren noch nicht so weit weg, ne? Aber ich habe ja richtig auf, vielleicht wären die ein bisschen weiter weg, vielleicht wäre ich noch schneller da gefahren und wäre noch mehr vielleicht am Arsch. Ja, das Problem war halt, wegen Aufbauseminar musste man halt ab da, ich glaube, das war 1 km zu schnell oder sowas. Ab 80 oder so musste ich vielleicht gar kein Aufbauseminar machen oder so. Weiß ich gar nicht mehr genau. Und deswegen musste ich halt Aufbauseminar und ja, war ich am zweiten nicht da und das war weg danach. Haben die einkassiert, ne? So ist das. Da sind schon einige Dinge passiert. Ich bin mal auf dem Dings gefahren auch noch. Auf Stein raufgefahren im Schnee. Ich habe das gar nicht gesehen. Auf Stein aufgefahren irgendwie. Keine Ahnung. So ein Riesenstein da. Ja. Also hab nicht wenig erlebt, ey. Eine Autobahn habe ich irgendwas umgefangen, habt irgendwie. Tack! Hat voll so ein Geräusch gemacht. Tack! Ich so, oh. Mein Freund neben mir schläft, Alter. Ich bin aber weitergefahren einfach. Sollte man ja auch, also nicht nach rechts, links oder sowas. Das ist gefährlich bei der Geschwindigkeit. Da stabil bleiben. So eine kurze Zeit da, wo ich meinen Führerschein hatte und meinen Wagen. Wann ist denn mein Wagen eigentlich abgesoffen? Ich hatte meinen Führerschein, meinen Wagen. Kurz danach ist mein Wagen abgesoffen oder so, wo ich meinen Führerschein verloren habe. Oder war das davor? Weiß ich gar nicht mehr. Ich glaube, davor ist das schon abgesoffen. Ist ja aber so ein Ding, ne? Ist ja aber, gerade wo ich Führerschein verliere, mein Wagen geht auch noch weg. Ja, so ist das. Ich musste ein bisschen mal aufpassen und so mit dem Wagen. Ja, wie gesagt, passiert halt mit dem Essen. Man lernt halt dazu, ne? Lohnt sich nicht mehr sowas. Habe ich auch gar keinen Bock, so Dings jetzt. Vielleicht ab und zu mal so ein Rennen oder so, wenn es geht. Wo ganz leer ist oder so. Sollte man auch aufpassen. Mit Auto sollte man nicht unterschätzen. Sowas, die Konsequenzen, was alles passieren könnte und so. Wenn man zu schnell fährt oder sowas. Sollte man nicht unterschätzen. Auf der Landstraße haben wir mal einen Schwarmspatz mitgenommen. Okay. Ja, ist auch nicht schön, ne? So ist auch, man kriegt auch nicht so einen guten Gewissen danach. Zum Beispiel, ja, bei der Autobahn kann ich ja nichts führen, ne? Das fahre ich einfach geradeaus. Das war ja auch dunkel, glaube ich. Irgendwas war da, glaube ich, da drunter. Aber das war nichts so Großes, glaube ich, da drunter oder so. Aber ich habe richtig gehört, so tack, hat das gemacht. Und da dachte ich mir, okay, ich habe irgendwas überfahren jetzt. Ist auch scheiße, aber was will man da machen, ne? Fest einfach habe ich ja nicht gesehen oder sonstiges. Gut, ich bin mal weg, Alter. Meine Nudeln, meine Spaghetti, Alter, die verbrennen ja schon jetzt. Also, die sind ganz schön lange in der Dings drin, ey. Muss ich jetzt mal rausholen. Ich bin mal weg. Wünsche dir noch eine gute Nacht bei und allen anderen auch. Bis zum nächsten Mal eventuell. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Haut rein.